Today you're going to learn a passive income hack when it comes to new cars versus leased cars versus old cars. Let's get into that. Before we do, remember we have the St. Kevin coupon code for 17% off the real estate investing course and the real estate agent sales course, where you get the private live stream mentoring with Meet Kevin. All right, so let's get in this car. Let's start talking about the difference between leased, new, and old. So back when I was 15 years old and I got my learner's permit, first started driving, I was playing a lot of World of Warcraft, and it made it a little challenging to find, friends that didn't play WoW or a girlfriend. In fact, I kind of went around with a druid badge on my backpack, which may have not been the smartest idea. But on the same note, and sort of the opposite note, I thought, well, if I had a nice, fancy new car, well then maybe, I would have a girlfriend. So I somehow convinced my dad to lease a BMW 328i for me right before I turned 16 years old, so I would have it when it was time to drive the car. And guess what changed for my social life? Nothing. In fact, maybe I got home to play WoW like 0.2 seconds earlier than if I had a normal car. But wait a minute, I'm not trying to be the one that's saying, hey, don't get a BMW 328i, don't have a nice car. That's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, it's nice to have a nice car. I like convertibles, I like European cars. You know what, I kind of like all sorts of cars, especially nicer cars. I mean, who doesn't? So at the time I thought, okay, well, that was kind of a bummer. It didn't really change anything for me. But what was I really missing out on? I was really missing out on the passive income hack that cars can present to you. And I really only found out this hack when I was 25 years old and found my father-in-law buy this very car. Now, this is my father-in-law's car, so I'm not gonna go wreck it on the highway or anything. And this is also the neighborhood I used to pass out flyers and pumpkins in, so I figure I may as well sit here and, wave to neighbors. Hopefully they recognize me and they're like, oh, they're filming, oh, they're probably talking about real estate. Nah, we're talking about cars, but they don't need to know that. And so here we are talking about cars, and my father-in-law taught me the biggest lesson ever that is an insane passive income hack for when it comes to buying cars versus leasing cars versus new and old cars. And here it is. My father-in-law bought this 2005 645 Ci BMW. 130,000 miles, convertible, probably $90,000 car new, fully loaded for $9,000. Like, oh my gosh. And in the last 2 years, he's had maybe $2,000 in maintenance on it. I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, this is the hack. Let's talk about the specifics of it, how you can take advantage of it. So what does this mean for you? Well, let's do some numbers. If you wanted to do the same thing I did and have a BMW 328i when you were 16 years old, well, they usually cost about $41,000. So let's assume you leased it. If you leased it for, $41,000, you'd probably be looking at a payment of about $628 per month, assuming you put zero money down. Let's just keep the numbers very, very simple. $628 per month. Or you could buy it. Now you're gonna have principal pay down on top of your interest rate, so you're probably gonna be closer to $800 per month if you bought the car. Or you could buy a used 2013 BMW 328i, virtually the same freaking thing with some different technology or whatever. The used price is like $14,999 at CarMax with maybe 50, 60,000 miles. These cars usually are rated for 250 to 300,000 miles, maybe even more. And guess what? Your payments would be under $300 per month. So what do you have here? You have the ability to get a BMW, a European car, a sick-looking car. You get the same luxury feeling, you get the same sort of status impact. If anybody wants to know what year it is or how much you paid for it, they're probably gonna be like, oh my gosh, you got a screaming deal. I mean, $9,000? Look at this thing, it's freaking awesome. $9,000 and you got a convertible. I mean, there's room for a car seat in there. It's amazing. And this, with these rims and all the upgrades, I mean, the person who bought it lost all the money. It's kind of like when you buy an over-improved house, which we talk about in the real estate investing course all the time. You buy a house that's like custom model home, like one of these new construction neighborhoods or whatever. Somebody fully remodels it with like Brazilian hardwood, expensive tiling, this, that, or the other. The next buyer comes in, gets all that crap for a discount. The same is true with cars. And folks, that is the passive income hack. $300 for the used car, $628 for the lease version, or $800 for the bought car. The difference, we could even throw in maybe $100 or $200 for maintenance or whatever, because you're not gonna have one of those protection plans unless you bought one, then it would cost you that money. Whatever, big deal. So let's say the used car is gonna cost you, I don't know, $450 a month. There's still a difference of about $178 to $378 between the used car and the leased or the bought new car. And that is another form of passive income that is not only going to help you keep your expenses low, which what happens when your expenses are low? You can invest more money into stocks, into real estate. You can follow my steps of investing $210 per week and become that millionaire by taking advantage of the tips I give in my other passive income lectures. And you're not wasting money. When you buy a new car, you're throwing money out of the window thanks to depreciation. When you lease a car, don't kid yourself. The depreciation is already factored in to the payment you're making, so you're suffering the same loss. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, come on, Kevin, I mean, I want a new car every 3 years. For what? Look at this thing, it looks great. What do I need another one for every 3 years? Because you want to change it up? I mean, fine. If that's really important to you, I'm not saying don't do it. But what is more important to you is what you should be asking yourself. A new car or owning and controlling more real estate? Owning and controlling more stocks? Building your wealth? And stopping with the, ooh, look, I have the latest edition. This, oh, what's this? What's this? Look at this. This is the other thing, you know, you start doing upgrades, right? Let's get some new mufflers. Let's wrap the thing. Let's deco it out. Put new rims on it. Spend thousands and thousands of dollars for crap you don't need. Or have somebody who's already done it and take it over. I mean, that's my favorite. So, I mean, folks, it should be pretty obvious. Buy a used car. I wish, if I had known this before I bought any car, with the exception of the Tesla, because no other car has autopilot, would never, ever buy a new car again. Now, on the topic of cars, let's touch on the Tesla a little bit. Here's the thing with the Tesla, the only way I was going to get the best autopilot technology at the end of 2017, which to me was like a life insurance policy. Some people look at me like, oh, you're just justifying why you wanted to buy a Tesla. Fine, I don't really care what you think. My point of view was, I got 2 kids, I want that autopilot on every time I'm driving, so if I get like an emergency call or whatever, I gotta reply to one of your emergency DMs, I feel a little bit better. Not saying it's the right thing to do, don't do that, you should not do that, but the car is absolutely incredible on the freeways. It is so impressive, the autopilot system. But, you know, if you don't value that, or you have the time to wait for the used Teslas with the advanced autopilot to come out, that is exactly what I would do. Right now, Tesla Model 3 is looking pretty good. If you're looking for something used, I'd grab, like, if you could get a car like this, $9,000 for a sick BMW, do it and laugh at everybody else spending money out their butts while you're buying stocks and real estate. Thanks, everybody. Follow me on Instagram. Now, I wanted to add a note here that I don't think I made as clear as I wanted to in the video. What I wanted to say is, look at this. Look at the impact that that $9,000 convertible BMW has. Like, every single dollar has so much impact power, I call it. Like, the impact dollar per dollar is very large. Whereas now if you spent twice as much as that $9,000 on that BMW, you spent $18,000 on a new Toyota Yaris, 2019 Toyota Yaris, 2020 Toyota Yaris. How much impact power per dollar are you getting? In totality, but now you're also spending twice as much as that used car. So there's this interesting phenomenon that you could actually have a much more of a wow car, much more of a luxury car, much more of a show-off car, even if you want to wrap it or do some crazy rims to it or whatever. With a used car, then if you got a new one, because it's got 0 miles on it, it's like, I got a new car. Who cares? Nobody looks at a car and goes, huh, I bet you that BMW has 150,000 miles on it. Nobody cares how many miles are on it. It either looks cool or it doesn't. And there's a massive boom pow value you can get with used.